Welcome to a month in the Kruger. This is Crocodile Bridge. Well, it's time for our first morning drive from Crocodile Bridge. This is the usual routine. Get up at 5:15 while it's still dark, and then get the coffee on. The idea is to be out the gates as soon as it opens at 6 o'clock. This gives you a little bit more chance to see some of the animals that might still be awake at 6, or to get ahead of the crowds, you know, for where there are sightings. So anyway, that's our normal procedure, but we might do something a little bit different this time, because I'm not sure we want to queue up at the gate all the time. Right, that's the coffee done. We'll soon be on our way. When you find a big bull elephant like this in the road, you've got no choice but to reverse. Took us about 20 minutes reversing before he finally decided to walk into the bush. We'd now been driving about an hour, seeing very little, when suddenly something on our right just caught our eye. You can spend a lot of time in the Kruger just following animals down the road. Well, we're just back from our first full morning's drive from Crocodile Bridge. Time for a coffee and a bathroom break. Luckily they've got a coffee cabin here, so that's quite good. Well, that was quite an interesting first morning's drive. The procedure normally in the Kruger is that you queue up quarter to an hour before the gates open at 6 o'clock and then get on your way. But this morning the gates were wide open at 5:45, so off we went. And it was pitch dark, and it was the first time we've ever driven in Kruger in the pitch dark. It's quite a novel experience. We thought we might be lucky and get some of the nocturnal creatures, but unfortunately there was still nothing about, and it's very difficult to see at night. Even in the morning when it's dark. It was a very overcast day as well, so that really didn't help. And we went down to buy Marty Weir. Saw a few things there, not as much as usual, but altogether promising first day's drive. And we're now back at camp for a couple of hours, have a bit of a rest, and then we'll go out again about 3 o'clock and see what we can find for this afternoon. Before we go out on our afternoon drive, I thought we'd take a look around the camp. This is Crocodile Bridge Rest Camp. Now, we've not been to Crocodile Bridge before, this is the first time, and out of the dozen or so camps that we have been in, I think this is probably our least favourite. This little area here with all the trees is very nice, but it's very closed in, very claustrophobic and quite dark. Many of the other camps are quite open, and strangely, I don't know whether it's this time of year, but there's virtually no wildlife about. There's not even birds. Normally there's birds all around you when you're eating and picking up crumbs and stuff, but there's not a single bird outside our bungalow today. We've got bungalow number 3, which is down by the river, and I think these ones here, which are a bit further around, are much nicer. You haven't got a river view, but it seems to be quiet around this part. And then right adjacent to the bungalows is the camping area, and that's rather congested. A lot of the other camps have the camping area well away from the bungalows, much more spread out. It's not unpleasant, but as I say, it just has the feeling of being crowded in, and you're right on the fence. And one odd thing is that the reception for the camp is actually outside the park, outside the entrance gate. There's a filling station, which is obviously handy, and over that direction there's a shop. It's a very nice shop. It's got everything you can really need, much more than the shops in the Halahadi had. And of course this is the actual entrance gate. You're not allowed to walk further than that. And then when you leave in the morning, the same as all the other camps, you just drop your keys in there and off you go. And this camp's also got a number of safari tents, which are quite pleasant actually. They're very nice inside. We're going to one of those at Lower Sabi, which will be our next stop, and that one will feature in the next episode. One problem with the safari tents is that if it's really hot outside, they get boiling and there's almost no way you can cool down in them. But it's a more authentic African experience, so I quite enjoy those. And that's us back to our bungalow. So that's a complete tour of the Crocodile Bridge Camp. As I say, it's not our most favourite camp, and I doubt that we'll come back here. The main reason being, you're right next to the river, which is not a problem in itself, but you're also right next to a man-made weir. Now, one of the joys of being in the Kruger is sitting out in the evenings when it's nice and warm and listening to the sounds of the African night. But here, everything is drowned out by that weir, which is about all you can hear. There's nothing that you can hear above that. And that alone is one reason why we won't come back to this camp. Others might enjoy it, but it's not for us. But I don't know whether you can actually see there. I have to zoom in a bit. We've got an elephant down there actually having a drink in the river. So there are some niceties. Well, that's the tour, and we'll see when we go out for the afternoon drive. Even though it was getting dark by now, we still had a couple of great sightings ahead of us. Well, this is our last drive from Crocodile Bridge. We're heading to Lower Saby tonight, and that'll be in the next episode. But this morning's drive is part of Crocodile Bridge. Now, strangely, they don't seem to shut the gates at all at Crocodile Bridge, because we're on the road again in the pitch dark at 10 to 6. So let's hope we see. In fact, you're so busy that they're even letting people through the gates. Let's hope we see a few nocturnal creatures this time, although I'm not overly hopeful. Wait for the sunrise then. As we got nearer Lower Saby, our chances of spotting wildlife diminished as the morning mist was still hanging around. At times you could look down over the lower lying ground and see nothing but the tops of the trees. It was all rather eerie. Well, it's been a very quiet morning so far. Mind you, it's quite damp out and it's very misty. So whether the animals don't like that, I don't know. It's amazing how different each day can be in the Kruger. By this time yesterday, we've probably seen a couple of dozen or more elephants. Today, not one single elephant. A few zebra, one giraffe, and nothing much else, apart from a few birds. We've just been told though that there are some lions on the S82, so that's where we're heading now. But who knows whether they'll still be there. Well, we didn't see any lions on the S82, but we did come across a huge herd of buffalo. And then later on, a lone bull elephant determined to destroy half the bush. We're at the Kruger picnic site now at the end of another quiet morning's drive. In fact, this is the quietest we've ever known the Kruger, so may not be a good time to come. Never mind, there's plenty of time left, and as we head further north we might see more. I think that'll do for the Crocodile Bridge episode, so we'll call an end to that one here, and see you next time in the Lower Sabi episode. Don't forget to hit some of the buttons down below if you want to follow along. If anything spectacular happens on the way to Lower Sabi, I'll take it on the end of the video. Well, nothing spectacular happened, but we did have an hour or so before we could check into Lower Sabi. So we spent that time at Sunset Dam, which is just outside the camp. We still had time to spare, so we took a side trip up the H10 across the Sabi River before turning round and finally checking into the camp.